My name is Sid, and over here I have with me my colleague.
Hi, I'm Ariane, and I am producer at Hyperjump Productions.
So we are here to represent Hyperjump Productions. So the founder of our company and also the lead producer, unfortunately, they are dealing with a little bit of an emergency, but we are here to take charge and lead this discussion on pre-production
Yes.
and how it's so very important in film. I think a very important thing for us as we start is like we're more than happy to make this a conversation as opposed to just us talking and you guys just listening. So if at any point you have any questions, feel free to interrupt us, raise your hand, talk to us, and we will just go from there.
Yes.
Do you have anything to add before we start?
Yes, there's like so much to talk about when it comes to pre-production because I feel like when people think about film, they always think about camera, shooting, but then they don't realize the hard work that goes before going into production, which is research and just a lot of preparing. Yeah.
So one thing that we have been trained by Dennis, the founder, and also Prasadini, our lead producer, is that pre-production is the most important thing when it comes to production, when it comes to like projects, videos, working with clients, whatever it may be. The most important thing for a production is pre-production, and I think Ariane has a better idea of why that is so important.
Yes, so pre-production is very important because how are we able to deliver without preparing for stuff? So there's a lot of process that goes into this. Sometimes production can take 5 days or 3 days, right? Yes. But then in order to achieve that, we have a lot of research going on and sometimes it depends on the project, but it can take 3 months or sometimes like 5 months for just preparing everything, logistics, papers, crew, equipment.
I think a good example of the level of work that goes into producing is like take this event for example. Like it wasn't just done overnight or in the span of a week. I'm like 200% sure that the pre-production that must have gone into like setting up this event, getting all these companies involved, getting all the equipment, even for this particular Q&A session, it must have been like weeks, if not months, of planning, of making phone calls, of getting locations, getting vendors, etc. A lot of things can go wrong, and it is the producer's job to make sure that if things do go wrong, then what's the backup plan, or ensuring that things don't go wrong and things just go as smoothly as possible for the production and then also the post-production. And that also includes working with clients.
Yes, working with clients. Actually, just a little background. I've been a producer for a few years now, but a lot of people ask me, Ariane, why do you want to be a producer? What is so creative about being a producer? Sometimes they would be telling me, is the most creative thing about being a producer just, color-coded Excel sheets? But actually, no. There's a lot of creativity that goes into producing as well. And so a producer is also like a backbone of the whole team, the company. It's not just me though. We have to work together hand in hand, knowing each other as crew members and also for our clients. We really need to know what do they want and how do we achieve that.
Exactly. So for a little bit of context, I am the head of the camera department at our company, but I have worked as a producer on many other projects in the past. I have led teams. And as a director of photography or as a head of department, it is my job to work closely with the producers to ensure that the production or whatever project we are working on goes smoothly. It may not be my job always to deal with clients, for example, or it may not always be my job to like work with whoever like called us to the project. But if I can work closely with the producer who works as the middleman and the unsung heroes of the production, then they can ensure that the production goes smoothly, that everything that can go wrong has been dealt with, and it doesn't slow down my job as being the camera operator or the director of photography or just as a crew member. It doesn't stop me from doing my job. And one thing that producers do to ensure that our job goes well is we have assistant directors, which many people don't really know are actually in the production department, not the director's department. It's the AD's job to ensure that the director stays on time, that they move to the next scene quickly, that they know what they're doing, that they know what location we're going to next. If it's a film shoot, for example, and it's the AD's job to like to step in as producer on set and help the director stay on time.
Actually, if you guys have any questions, you're free to ask us anytime because we would love to make this also as a conversation with you guys. So, if there's anything, feel free to ask or talk about anything. Yes.
Yeah, there's a question here.
Yeah, hi. So my question is, what's a standard flow chart for the pre-productions that you have handled so far? I'm sure based on the requirement, based on the project, small, medium, big, it would be different. But there is a standard format that you follow for pre-production. That okay, this, and that. So.
So one thing that we do depending on the project. I can just give an example of like a TVC that we shoot. Like, as you can see up here, we did this for Sun and Sand Sports. They approached us as a client and they said, "This is what we want to shoot. This is the budget we have. What can we do? Can you bring us any ideas?" And Prasadini, who was also our lead producer, she came up with many ideas on what we can shoot. Came up with a storyline, characters for this, and then they liked the idea, and then we went forward with it. So the standard flowchart for that then became, okay, they like this idea, they like these characters, they want to go for this look. Okay, how can we then find the locations? How can we then find the actors? What cameras do we need? Fortunately for us, we have like cinema cameras, red cameras in-house. But if we don't have that, for example, then we then go to other rental houses, other production companies to see if we can rent their cameras. That then gets added to the budget, and then a lot of paperwork then also goes down in terms of getting location permits, approval for paperwork, approval for budgeting, approval for actors, and then making sure that everything is sorted, everything is handled, including catering on set. That then gets handled, and then it then essentially gets handed over to the DOP and the director, who then takes charge on set. And because everything has been handled properly, the producer can then just be on set to put out fires if any do come up. And then after that, it's just smooth sailing. So to give an example, so the Sun and Sand Sport documentary TVC was shot in 2 days, and it was a very smooth production, 12 hours each day, and minimal hiccups. I hope that answers your question.
He pretty much said everything, but there's like so much that goes on into pre-production. In order to have a smooth sailing production and post-production, we have to prepare again a lot of preparation, communication as well with clients and within our team. Brainstorming is very important when it comes to creativity as well as the logistics of it. We need to have everything fall into place.
Yeah, of course.
It's a follow-up question to my previous question. So, basically, you have dealt with so many projects, so you could have made a list of what could go wrongs by now. Like, I'm sure even with all that planning, there were some fires that needed to be dealt on the day. So, if you could give a brief, list of the what could go wrongs and how you prepared to mitigate those.
That's funny because in every situation, something will always go wrong. But we always say that we can only stress about things that we can control. But the things we cannot control, we leave the rest to the world. But then at the same time, we always create contingency plans. We as producers, actually as a crew, we're very much overthinkers. We think about everything that can go wrong. Sometimes we even plan, oh, I knew this was gonna happen. But then we just have to deal with it. We have to be snappy on our feet and think of, okay, what can we do right now? Let's take a short break and let's try to figure something out.
And to answer your question, to be a little more specific, the question shouldn't really be what can go wrong. The question really should be what can't go wrong. Because in any department, at any point, anything can happen. And as a crew, we all have each other's backs, as Hyperjump especially, but any crew needs to have each other's backs and just come up with a solution quickly. We have had issues with other cameras, for example, where like the camera battery runs out and we have no other place to charge it. Or we were on set once and we were shooting in the middle of a desert and we needed portable toilets, but they didn't arrive. What's the next solution? We needed food to come, but there's no delivery. How do we fix that? Or we have an actor who's not willing to come out of their van for whatever reason. How do we then convince them, okay, please come out, we have this next scene to shoot. How do we then ensure that the actors are comfortable? We also work with child actors. We like anything can go wrong. So it's not really a list that we can give, okay, this is what we've dealt with, because we have essentially dealt with every single thing. So contingency plans for everything, but if there isn't a contingency plan, we take it 1 second at a time or one moment at a time and just decide as a team, what's the next best thing? Can we skip a scene? Can we come back to it later? Can we move to a different location? Can we order food from somewhere else? Anything can go wrong, and anything can also be fixed.
Just to add up, that's why it's really important that us as Hyperjump, we really create good relations between our team, because we know each other's strengths, weaknesses, so that we can support each other as well.
One thing that we as a team have also been like doing the last few months really is just bonding as a team, getting to know each other personally as well as professionally, and it helps a lot. And it is a producer's job in a sense to sometimes mediate, but also make sure that everyone's relationships are good, so that those issues don't come up on set, where everyone knows their role, everyone knows what they need to do, and everyone also knows what they can't do. And everyone just does their role properly and then doesn't overstep their boundaries. If you guys happen to have any more questions, I know that like things may seem a little vague. We are also jumping from topic to topic. If you do want us to be a little more specific about certain things, like we are always open to more questions, more discussions from you guys as well. And if things go smoothly in the pre-production, and then we can then move to production. And then now, if you would do me the honor of introducing Zach or Zahar Leshkov, he is our photographer, and we can then talk about how we take charge as production department.
Thank you guys for having me here.
So I want to present myself. I am Zahar Lishkov. I'm the head of photography, as my colleague said. And now we're going to speak about the production. Do you have anything you want to say first?
So as we discussed, like if things go smoothly in production, even as we talk about the shooting aspect, if you have any questions about how it may relate in the pre-production to the production, feel free to ask any questions as well. So as we then move on to production, it then comes to the director and the DOP to take charge and lead their teams accordingly. And I have directed a bunch of movies, but I prefer to be behind the camera. I love being behind the camera, working with equipment. I try to be as knowledgeable and as up to date on the latest technologies, cameras, and just however we can use those cameras best to get the best quality, the best angles, the best lenses, the best look for the film, and just have a good output. And Zach does the same with photography.
Yeah. Video is great, but also photos is a different format that everybody needs. Clients, companies, there are different forms of photography. And
so one thing we do on set, we always try for that. No matter what the shoot is, no matter what the client wants or needs, something we are proud of is the fact that we always get behind the scenes. Whether it's for ourselves, whether it's for the client, we always provide behind the scenes photos and videos. And in my honest opinion, Zach takes some amazing behind the scenes photos. And brag about
Thank
it,
you.
man. Brag about it. Go for it.
I've done behind the scenes photos for a couple of projects. For our project for PlayStation, where we shot a short film for Call of Duty, and it was a very tough shoot and tough environment to get behind the scenes photos. We also shot behind the scenes for Brands for Less, Sun and Sun Sports, and many others.
Yeah, there's a question here.
Regarding the BTS, I myself shoot sometimes BTS, and I find myself to be in a tricky spot with the actual photographer or the videographer on the set in order to be at the best vantage position to capture all of this. How do you ensure that you're still there and not there?
I would say it depends on the shoot, but you also need to know what you're doing and why you're doing. You shouldn't be in the way of the main production, but you should still ensure that you're there, you're doing what you came from. Sometimes it's about finding the interesting angles from down the floor, from high up, some way where you can get the whole wide shot of the production, still get the objects, the actors, and the crew together, but be out of the way. For one of the projects for Sun and Sun Sports, we had a setup inside of the room, and it was very tough to get photos for me because there was camera, we had a dolly, we had rail tracks, we had crew, everybody in one room, lights. So I went very low. I went as low as the ground could allow me, and I just basically got that perspective. And then I found a spot where I could find through between the lights there was some gap, and I got that angle. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, so you became innovative with the space that was available.
Sorry, can you speak a little bit louder? I cannot hear you.
I said, so you became innovative with the space that was available. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, a very important thing about behind the scenes, especially, is like any gap you find to frame a shot, to find a frame within a frame, capture it. Like looking at example of these chairs that you're sitting, there's a little grip and there's a little hole that we can see through. You can shoot through that and also kind of be out of the way of the production. You can get a really cool shot out of that. That's just a small example of like stuff you can capture, and that can also then be applied in actual film, actual productions. And if we can like steer the conversation back to that, how the directors and the DOPs take charge. So the director has a huge crew backing him up. There's the DOP, there's gaffers, grips, there's actors, there's even the production department now who are now assisting and making sure that the production goes smoothly. And being a director on set can be a very difficult job. And one thing that I've learned, I forget who it was, but I'm going to quote a very great filmmaker, is that if you cannot make a quick decision on set, you're not fit to be a director. If a situation arises and you have to make a decision about yes or no or this or that, and you cannot make a decision within a moment, and if it slows down the production, then you are not fit to be a director. And I will say that there have been times where I have either gotten like a little overwhelmed or something just snaps in me and I'm not able to make a decision. Fortunately, there were smaller shoots where my team was able to either cover for me or whatever, and we can then take charge and then recuperate, take a quick break, come back and then move on with the production. But I have also seen Dennis take charge, make quick decisions without slowing down the production ever, and just dealing with issues one thing at a time and then just going on with the production. Because directors not only have to direct the actors, they also have to direct the camera operator and the DOP to get the best angle, to work with the sound, so we can ensure that what we want to hear is good enough for the edit. Also thinking about music, lighting, the feel, and making sure that we also get what the clients want, or in film productions what the producers want, what the big company wants. So the directors have to make all the creative decisions So the producers make the director's job as easy as possible. The director's stress is all the creative decisions, and then they work very closely with the DOP, which is what I strive to be, what I'm trying my best to be really good at and trying to master that. And I know of many DOPs, many director of photographies who don't even touch the camera. They just lead their camera crew. They tell them what angles they want. They tell them what cameras, what lenses, what lights they want. And they just sit back, relax, and look at the monitor and don't ever touch the camera. But their decision-making skills comes from all the technical stuff, all the angles, and working closely with the director.
I also want to add to that, as production in terms of photography, everything should be pre-planned, done in pre-production. However, also everything that can go wrong may go wrong, and it's all about the journey. It's all about the creative, the art, and persistence. For example, I had one shoot where I was going with for a production company, shooting in nature. And everything was great, weather was great when we drove out, everything was prepared, props, everything, location. But when we got there, it started to heavy rain, and we had to decide either we leave the location and postpone the shoot, or we stay for a couple of hours and see what we can get. We decided to be persistent, to try to get results, and even though the rain was still going on, we still achieved the look we were going for, and we still created the art that we were looking for.
And pre-production and production, like it relates to film and photography all the same. So the same issues that we can have in film, the same issues can also come up in photography as well. I personally know many divas who we have dealt with, models, actors, and actresses who just don't want to like help us with photos or whatever. And sometimes we have also had issues with furniture, if you want to talk about that.
We had some issues with furniture. First of all, furniture is huge and heavy, and it's hard to get into locations, especially if it is lifestyle shoot for the catalog and you're somewhere in nature. Whatever can get wrong will go wrong. The truck got stuck in the sand. Some items got scratched in the process, and then we're the ones to solve all of the issues. And we do that. We do that all of the time, and we get the victory. We get the results that we are happy with, that the client is happy with, and we always overachieve. We give the client what they want, and we strive towards giving them more than what they asked for.
One little piece of advice that I can give, I have learned in my personal experience. This isn't even something that I heard from someone else. If you want the production to look good and go smoothly, or as smooth as possible, the director and the DOP need to be best friends. If there's even a little bit of a clash between the DP and the director, things can go wrong. There's going to be fights that happen. There can be a lot of issues that come up. I have worked with directors who I personally dislike. That's the strongest word I will use. I dislike them, but I worked with them because I had to, and because we just had issues and personalities or just vision or whatever the issue may be. There was a clash, and the project just didn't come out looking too good. On the flip side, I worked with someone who I actually consider one of my best friends. She directed a project, and I agreed to be her DOP. And even though it was a small project, it turned out to be one of my most fun and memorable shoots that I've done, and our visions aligned like this, and we were able to come up with a beautiful project with a beautiful story, because what she wanted, I was able to achieve. What I wanted, I was able to tell her, let's try this, let's come up with this. And we were able to just go for it and get a cool project. And one thing I'm really sorry. One thing people also have to understand is that there is also a hierarchy on set, and no matter what, you respect the hierarchy. Yes, the director and DOP need to be best friends, but at the end of the day, if the director does not want something that the DOP may want, or vice versa, if the director calls the shot and says, I want this done. The DOP may give their opinion, but the final say still falls on the director. And if the hierarchy is respected, the most important thing is that the production then goes smoothly. The director has a vision, and that vision matters more than the DOP's vision. And it is just the DOP's job to capture and make the director's vision look good.
And just to add to that, filmmaking and photography is the form of art in the end of the day. And the greatest results come when everybody is enthusiastic with it. Everybody loves the project. Everybody visions the results, visions where we're going, where we're moving. When the director works together with DOP and they have the same vision, they're enthusiastic about the project. They're happy to be there. Same with Gaffer, Grips, everybody. And that's our crew. That's people we work with. When I'm on set, I see that even Gaffer himself is happy to be there. He's happy to do his job, and he sees what he needs to do. And even when there are slight mistakes happen on somebody's side, he's there to help. He sees the mistake and he's proactive about it. He's not just doing his job. He's looking after the whole project. And even though there is a strict hierarchy, but still everybody wants to do the best job. And that's what makes art. That's what makes everything great.
An example of just how things work on set, and a good example of a respected director. 5 years ago, I was a part of a Hollywood production. I can't talk about it or give more details because I've signed an NDA. But what I can disclose is just an example of what happened on set. On that set, I was an art department assistant, the lowest of the low. I took orders from like 10 different people to get my job done. But when I was on set, we had to move a giant table as part of the set dressing from one place to another. And this really big Hollywood director, he came down to help us move a table. He wasn't sitting up in his chair saying, okay, get that done, move it from here to here. He wanted the production to move smoothly and quickly and as efficiently as possible. He himself came down. He was standing right next to me, moving a table from one point to the next. And a big respectable thing about that is that he kept his ego aside. Everyone needs to keep their ego aside and just prioritize the production. And that helps not just the production, but it also helps the morale of the people on set. So having your team's back in any situation is the most important thing. Just something as simple as moving a piece of table or buying someone food or just not losing your temper at the smallest of things goes a really long way. And in many situations, I've also seen that the crew, whether they get paid well or not, or whether they only get paid in food and transportation, their morale stays up and they're always willing to help and do more for the team when they know that they'll be treated really well. And I'm sure that we have also dealt with many situations like that, where Dennis, the founder of our company, has been so good to us, so kind, and he has spoiled us essentially, where he makes sure that we are happy on set and the production then goes really smoothly because we would go to hell and back for him. I would, at least.
Likewise. I think that stands for the whole of our company.
We are still open to any questions, any discussions. Yeah, there's a question in the back.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, we're good.
Yes. First of all, thank you for your talk. I just want to ask, when you are talking about the hierarchy in the set and when you are trying to communicate with the director and photographers and this kind of stuff, how do you communicate an idea when it's when words fail us? Like you have an idea in your mind and you want to deliver it to another person, like above you or in the hierarchy, like the director or the photographer. How do you tell them? Communicate the idea.
Can I take this? So that's a very fair question. Depending on the size and the scale of the production, it can either be very easy or very difficult to do so. And like I said earlier, you have to respect the hierarchy. and in some points you really just have to know this is not my place to speak up. So you just keep the idea to yourself, and then you think about, okay, if I was in this situation for a future production, how would I direct this in this way? We are a fairly small crew, so, and we all have the hierarchy on set, but we also are equals on set as a team. So if Dennis as a DOP is leading a production, and me as his assistant camera, I have an idea. I have the power and the ability to speak up and say, hey, what if you do this? Maybe one of my interns has an idea. He can either come to me or go straight to Dennis and say, hey, I have an idea, can we do this? If the situation calls for it, if the situation is high paced and there's no time, we respect the fact that the storyboard is set, that there already is a shot list, that there is a director's vision, and we do not overstep our boundaries. So when it comes to big productions, as an example, if I, as an art department assistant, have an idea for the director, and I know for a fact that my idea is better, it'll work better, I don't have the power or the space to speak up and say, hey, can you try this? Because he will just be like, who are you? I have my storyboard, who are you? You know? But yeah, so it depends on the situation. But depending on the team that you're a part of, if you know you have the power or the space given by your team or your boss or whoever, and you know that you can confidently give your idea forward, pass it on. If not, keep the idea to yourself and direct your film yourself.
Okay, so let's say I am the director and I want to tell the photographer about an idea. How the director explain the idea in the best way possible? Like sometimes mood boards, they draw mood boards, they make concept art, they make all these kind of things, but it's still, the idea can't be blurry, and some people have, exactly like you said, the director have a vision. And how the director delivers the vision for the stuff?
I would say it's all about communication and just trying to communicate to each other. On the sets that I've been working with, director and photographer working hand in hand, and they talk to each other, they communicate. And if one doesn't understand the vision of another, it is a big issue, and then maybe a coffee break or something like that. And preferably you would speak about everything at the beginning before set, and always coffee is a good mean to get to know each other and your ideas. But again, just to iterate, if you have this random idea in your head during the production, it's depends on if time calls for it and if you know the person. Most of the time on productions, you end up working with the same people and you already know the person you're speaking to. But if you don't know the person, then best idea is to go through somebody that you know and that knows that person. So for example, I would go through my boss, through Dennis, or I would go through for example, through the gaffer or somebody else. So hopefully that answers your question.
And to also add to that, one thing that we avoid is issues that come up later. So like you said, we have a storyboard, but maybe things don't look good. There's a reason we do location recce's. There's a reason, like before the production, maybe weeks in advance, we will go to the locations and we see where's the sun coming from, what kind of lighting can we use, can we put lights here and there, what kind of cameras can fit in this location, how many people, how many actors, etc. can fit in a particular place, and things can look good if we can then prep for it accordingly. We can then know we want to use this camera, this lighting at this time of day because we want to capture the sunset at this particular time at 5 p.m. The sun looks really good. But say for example we've lost the sunset, or the idea that we had originally, it doesn't look good. Like Zach said, it's the most important thing on set is communication. So pre-production is just planning and prep. On set is direct communication and then respecting the hierarchy. So if the director has a vision and he wants to tell the DOP or the photographer, hey, if this isn't working out, can we try this? the director and the DOP can then come up with ideas, take 5 minutes and say, okay, we can work with this angle, put this light there, and then the rest of the crew have to quickly manage, okay, if they want the light here, how do we get this light from here to here in the next 3 minutes so it doesn't slow down the production? So even at that point, it's putting out fires, and it's coming, and storyboards change on set, shot lists change on set. It's not unheard of. It happens all the time, but when those changes happen, sometimes it happens for the better, and it's all about just communication and working smoothly, and which is exactly why the director and the DOP need to be best friends, because if they have good communication, then nothing stops them. It's a very good question, by the way. If you have any questions, we are open to more discussions, but at the same time, we also would like to open the floor to the next phase of what goes on in the production, which is editing. So, any final questions, if you have any, before I pass on the mics to our editors? Yes.
So this is related to production. When you said about location recce, here in the Dubai, let's say it's just Dubai, not the UAE. I've noticed that there is a dearth of locations where you can shoot without the security posing issues with the continuation of the shoot. So for that matter, we have had to let go of many locations that could not work out. If it's not a sponsored project, if it's a small freelance project, and you don't want to be just contained within the four walls of the house or the beach, what are the other good locations that you can work with?
I have done many productions in studios, in front of either a green screen. It then opens up the room to editors to like put a fake background or something. We just light it accordingly and make the actors and the set look good. But obviously that may not always have the best output. At that point in time, the best thing that I can say is don't limit yourselves to just the city. Go to other cities, like find the best location that works for you in terms of lighting, in terms of location, accessibility. It's the best thing that I can say. Like we have done an underwater shoot, but that took place in Ras Al Khaimah. We drove all the way from Dubai to Ras Al Khaimah because that was the best location that we had, the best area, best time for sunlight in the morning. At that point, it's a situational thing. Just don't limit yourselves to security or permits. Just find the best location that you can. And if you have any like specifics, we're happy to help you with that. But if you have anything more to add to that.
And also, I would like to add to that, if budget is limited and it's a relatively small project, again, the key is communication and networking. Speak to the people in your industry, speak to your friends, speak to other people, and you'll find many people that would be happy to help you. Our industry is it's everything about communication, and we find that most of the time there is somebody that would be happy to help you if you need it. And when you reach out, you'll be surprised how many people want to be a part of something interesting, something great, and would be out there for you.
And to add to what Zach just said, like how networking is very important. 5 years ago, I was the DOP of a short superhero film, and we.
Marvelous Man.
Sorry.
Marvelous Man.
It was not Marvel. It was not Marvel. It was a short film, just a small production, and the producer reached out to the owner of his building, the landlord of his building, which I think was Imar. And we told them that we are looking for so and so locations. We're still looking out, and she happened to be an ex-theater student who respected our craft and our love for cinema and film. And she was like, "Okay, I have this location," and it turned out to be a penthouse in Palm Jumeirah. So and we got the location for free. We didn't even ask for it. It just worked out because she just had that love and respect for us, and it was a mutual thing. So that networking then helped us get a free location for like 3 days. We were able to shoot there, go for a location recce. We loved the location, and it looked really great as well. So networking has helped me personally in getting so many locations for free, no security, nothing. Sending emails, respectful emails, getting in touch with as many higher ups as possible has been very helpful. So that also falls under the producer's job, but then they can also get the help from the director because the director then says, I want this location for so and so reason. So networking, clear communication, clear intent, and if things don't work out, always just open your horizons, look for the next location because something will always be better than what you hope for. That's what I can say.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for having us. I would love to pass on the stage to our editors, our very, very talented editors, Yusuf and Khan.
Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum. This is Yusuf Ramzan, this is Atta Khan. I'm the post producer and lead editor for Hyperjump Production. I've been into this industry since 12 years. I've been doing a lot of feature films, documentaries, commercials, and been dealing with all from start of edit till the post production. I've been dealing it along with Khan. He's been recently started helping me with edit, and he's here as a junior editor. So we'll be open for any question regarding post production or anything specific you want to know. I'll be happy to help. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Hi. So, if you're shooting in NRAW or raw format files, like heavy files, and what's like your go-to software that you use? Is it FCP? Is it Adobe Premiere Pro? Or is it DaVinci? What do you prefer?
So recently we have been, you guys can hear me, right? So recently we have been shifted to DaVinci Resolve. Since the industry standards are changing. Like if you talk about like 10 years back, we were using Avid Xposure for film editing, or even Premiere Pro was started to get into the industry. But since the DaVinci Resolve started to take over all the grading and stuff, we started shifting all our production and post-production towards DaVinci. Why we choose DaVinci? Because it has a more user-friendly, as if I have to deal with like 4 editors, even they are not in the same location, we can collaborate with them easily. So that's the best part of DaVinci Resolve. Other than that, because as edit, they're like different session. We start with edit, then we go for sound design, then VFX, then grading. So if we are using different softwares, like we started editing on even say Premiere Pro, then we exported everything, bring it on to the Nuke to do the VFX, and bring it back to DaVinci for grade. So it's a long process. But since the DaVinci Resolve has started into this market, they jump in with all-in-one solution, from selecting the clips, editing it, even sound design from grade till their fusion for VFX. So it's easier for us to collaborate with different persons. That's why we are going for DaVinci Resolve. Another thing that I have noticed that these days content creation is boosting. Everyone here like knows a little bit about editing. Before that, it was not the case, but now people are more found and more knowledgeable about edit. So DaVinci has this feature which is free, where you can edit great sound, and a content creator can do all these things in the same software, and it doesn't has to be familiar with every single part. So he can be focused more into creativity than into technical aspect, which is good. Even if we move further, that maybe in 2 to 3 years, the AI will take over many of the things. As Adobe has already started adding AI into their Premiere or Photoshop. I don't know if you have used generative AI. I have recently used it, and I would say that it's not going to take our job, but it will make our job easier. Like if I'm a content creator and I'm doing everything solo, it's easier for me to ask AI to collect me shots of B-rolls of a particular face, or I need someone setting up, or I need two guys talking. I'll just write it, and AI will gather the shot, bring it to my timeline, and leave it for me to edit, for me to give the room for the creativity, other than focusing more into creative stuff, technical stuff, and let me be creative with my content. So I feel like that in few years, these all the talk of which software you should use to edit will be no more reasonable. People will be using anything and make way more better results. I would say that these days, Midjourney creates way better pictures than a regular photographer. Same the case will be editing. Soon, people will be more creative with AI, and surely the talk of which software you use will make no sense. Yes. Is there any more questions? Yes, please.
I just want to ask about the redundant tasks that face editors. Like sometimes when you want to add subtitle or something, like it's boring, but you have to do it. Is there any kind of automation or some kind of things you do to reduce these tasks?
Great question. As I was mentioning about DaVinci Resolve, it has a free version. It has a really nice feature, because before that we used to get the Word file from pre-production or a script, where we used to type. And as an editor, I can say my spellings are not good. I'm like always blundering around with the spellings. So I always wish that there's some easier way to start doing the subtitle, and it will give me a more it will give me more option to do the edits as well. Because in production, like if I talk about films, there are like a lot type of subtitles. Like there's person A is talking, then person B is talking, then there's a voiceover, then there's a music. So I always wanted some what you can say shortcuts to make my life easier. So recently, DaVinci has released this feature. When you click the create subtitle, it can create subtitle into different, almost 12 languages, which is easier. And I was like very shocked that how easily he picked it. And even it can give you an option to design the subtitle, whether you want it in a way like Netflix does, or in a way like Amazon Prime does. So even if you want it to be look like a TikTok, it can do that. Because as I mentioned before, it's for content creators, and content is not limited to the filmmakers or commercial people. It's for everyone. It's here to stay. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
How do you as a team, how do you as an editing team manage like working on one project? How do two editors work on one thing?
Usually what happened that there's a so limited case where two editor needs to work on the same project. So there's always be a lead editor who knows things, that who knows the storytelling, who knows the pace style, who knows the editing style, and there will be sub editors. So if you're talking about how to do it, I would say again, DaVinci has a lot more features to collaborate with editors. So there's recently they have launched a software. Within software, they have launched a part which is called DaVinci Cloud. What happened that in DaVinci Cloud, you just have to share the project with your sub-editor. It can be next to your desk or in another country. You can real-time collaborate within the timeline, and you don't have to hustle around. He can do the selects, you can do the scenes, he can fix the music or add the sound design, and you can real-time do other things. And it makes our work a lot easier, because before that we used to share project files. We have to constantly hitting Control S, the fear of losing the project. It was always there, but now it's so easy because everything is stored in the cloud, and cloud is real-time sync to both PCs. So you just have to take care of your raw data, and that's the easiest thing we can do. Thank you. Yes, please.
So, I know it depends on the film, but how long can you give an estimate as to how long does it take for you to finish editing a film?
Can you come again, please?
Okay, so I know it depends on the film, but can you give an estimate as to how long does it take for you to finish editing a film?
So I would say that literally it depends on the field or type of the projects. You won't believe that a 5-minute corporate interview would take less time than a 30-second commercial. You would say that a 10-minute interview is longer. Why you're making it faster than a 30-second commercial? This is a thing. A corporate interview has 2 clips, interviewee, B-rolls. It can be done within hours. But commercials involve a lot of pre-productions, art direction. There are directors, producers, executive producers. Then there's the brand perspective. They want colors to be looked like their product. They want to see a bit of frames here and there. The most time it took me to complete a 30-second commercial was anywhere between a month to 3 months, depending on the client changes. At a time, I have delivered almost 56 cuts of a 30-second commercial, and still get changes. And our work start to get more complicated when changes come at the later stages of post-production. So as I said, that we started with the simple editing, where we compile the storyboard, same as the shot. We just compile it. We just start putting it, and we send it to the director. They approve it to the brand. They come back with the changes. Then we move forward with the more crisp edit. Then we move forward with the grade. Then we move forward with the VFX. But if the client comes up with the changes at the later time of the timeline, they start giving changes at the end of the production, post-production, it's worst nightmare for us, because we have to go back and start doing all over again. I always say to the client when they come up with the changes at the later stage, I always say that it will give you a domino effect. When you put dominoes one by one and you start rolling one, it will start falling one by one. But what if I take out one domino? What will happen? The other dominoes would stop falling. So that's where our fear start to become reality. So I would say that it's totally depend on the project. Maybe it can take 1 to 3 months for a commercial to be published, or a couple of hours for a 10-minute corporate interviews. And for me, as I have done 2 features film, feature films are on the next level, because it needs to, I would say, this come the corporate, then there's the commercial, then there's the feature documentaries, then there's the film. I always prioritize film. Whenever I get the film, I brag about it. I would do Nike commercial, I'll do a Kareem commercial, I'll do commercials for like Call of Duty, I won't care. But if I do a one feature documentary, even for a project which has been shot for 3 years, I'm proud of it. Because that's where I'll be coming and showing my skills to. Because commercials, like everything is set up. Like production guys that did a good job, pre-production guys that did their good job. I'm just here to make the the circle rolling. I'm just doing the post-production. But when it comes to documentary, they throw it as at around 200 TBs of data, and I'm the owner of that data. I'll go through it. I'll go through each interviews. I'll go through each and every clip that they have shot for 3 years. So I'll be living their life of 3 years within my desk. So whenever I come up with the features, I'm like more proud than doing the commercial for Nike. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yes.
Hi. Have you ever come across any troubleshooting? For example, a file is missing, or a file is corrupt, or a file is unreadable, and it is an important file. How do you recover those files?
One of the worst case scenario is when you lost some files. So I won't say that I've never encountered it. I've even, in my early stage of being an editor, I've lost few clients because of it. Because they have invested on the production, and I have to be more careful with their data than they were. So what I do now, whenever like production comes with me with the footage, I make at least 3 copies of that data just to be sure. One, I'll keep it on my PC. One, I'll keep it in the network storage device, and one, I'll keep it in the cloud. It will be stored there as a cold storage, which will give me a plenty of space to safety space for me to do edit in the ease. I won't care if my PC got corrupted because I have been NAS. I won't care if the NAS has got corrupted because cloud is there and it's giving me a backup like every few days. It's creating a mirror of my cloud. So that's how the technologies help me securing the data. But in terms of recovering the data, once you encounter something, like if you corrupt some file, there are pretty good softwares where you can get it recovered. So maybe they won't give you the exact file data, but they will give you the preview version, which you can use and make the AI enhancement or something to make it usable. But firstly, don't lose it. Take like 3 backup at least. Yeah.
Could you tell the name of few of these softwares? Because I recently encountered such a problem and then used a bunch of softwares and still could not recover the data.
Okay, so there's a software called Peach Recover, and SanDisk, the brand, has their own recovery software. It really depends that have you lost your data? Is it on your hard drives or is it in your cards? If you have lost it in your cards, I will definitely advise you to recover it from SanDisk. And another piece of advice for you, that whenever you feel like that this card's data is corrupted, don't format it, okay? Don't overshoot on it. Even if you formatted it, we can get it recovered. But if you write another data over to the card, this is like 90 to 99.9% is not recoverable. But format is okay. You can use SanDisk recovery software, which is easily available. It's like, it will cost you like $20, or Peach recovery software, which is like free, almost free. It will give you a preview. If you're happy and you need that file like too much, you can pay it and get it recovered.
Mine was on a CF Express card reader, so I don't think SanDisk would have helped.
Come again?
Mine was on a CF Express card, so the 660 GB.
Oh.
So that's a different software. I think it was Nikon or something.
I guess SanDisk can easily recover from the card. You should definitely try it.
Thank you.
I've been there and I've done that. It recovers pretty much data. Like if you have recorded on MOV, it will give you an MP4 file. That's the least that you will lose. Okay, so is there anything you want to ask? Yes, please.
My question is, can you hear me? Okay. Have you ever faced a situation where you've done the video, like you send it to the client, and then the client's like, the video is nice, but can you change the music, please? And then you keep changing the music, the client's still not happy, and then they're like, can you put my music, please? And it sounds so bad. What do you do in this case?
One of the nightmares. I know why my life is full of nightmares, and changing music is the worst. Before like 4 to 5 years back, I was so I would say obsessed about my work as an artist that if you come up with this kind of change that change the music, I would straightfully say no. But as I've went further and encountered a lot of these requests from the client, I started to realize that client won't be happy when you would try to overcome them. Like you have to consider if you are talking about the commercial, they are paying for it. Okay, this is their brand, and they have hired a director, producer. They have shot everything, and they can ask you to do changes, and you have to accept it. Because if you won't accept it and keep like arguing with them, you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose your client. But to keep your dignity as an artist, you should understand your client first. So you can just give them some samples, like choose something from these kind of music, or maybe have a conversation. Because mostly what happened as an editor, if the director is communicating to the editor, and editor can't reach to the client, I would say there come the post producer. He will be the bridge between the director, client, and the editors. He will be the responsible person for making sure that editor doesn't have to make the one change again and again. I guess these kind of situation always encounter when you have poor communication between client, directors, and producers. That's where this situations comes up. But once you start to understand your client, you will know what kind of taste of music he will like. So you will start incorporate your art and the music according to their needs.
So in this case, you should not trust your creative side, but listen to the client more.
I would say that as there's a priority for me, so I keep commercials, documentaries, and films. If you're taking me as a film editor, okay, I know the film from in and out. The director is sitting with me. He won't argue with me that much. But when you're talking about the commercials, yes, the commercial client is paying a lot more to the directors, producers, and we are at the end of this stage. Imagine you are ruining it at the end. How client would feel. So that's why I tried to like get a clear communication before getting all the footage into my timeline. That are you sure you need this? Or I can give you another idea. If the client continuously like changing music, you can offer him that I can get it composed for you. I find it, there's one client, Thrive. We had a great relationship with them, but I had to do like almost 56 cuts for them. So I was like, it was like the lack of knowledge from the client side because they didn't know how production works. So what was their thought process was that first we will accept the visuals, then we will accept the grade, then we will accept the sound design, then we will go for the music. And for me, as an editor, I feel like I have to feel the music before going to add any visuals. Like, how can I go forward with it? So what I come up with, I started adding my own music into the client's visuals and started to get approved with them on the same music. Whatever they gave changes regarding music, I'd never done it until we get into the end. And I gave them this package of that I will get it composed for you. And believe me, I get it connected with the musician. He and the client and us, we were all on the call, plus the director. We had a healthy conversation of 1 hour, what they want. They gave us the references. Composer did his job. Single day approved. Because I knew the client gonna be like this. Like, if he's asking me to do 56 changes, if I'll start changing the music, I'm done. I'll be doing it like all over again. But yeah, that's the best thing you can do. You can just grab from your budget and pay for the composer. Because I feel like editor can't do everything. He can do edit. Like, if you keep it this way. That's the simple solution for it. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
That's it. So, okay. So, as we have speak a lot about editing and stuff, I would like to thank Xposure for giving us this platform. As a Hypergym team, we have been really starting to boost in Dubai, Sharjah, and all over UAE. We have been trying to pull up our name and our name. And we are really glad that Xposure gives us this platform to express our art's feelings into the platform. And I'm thankful for all of you to listen to me. And great question, guys. And I feel like that in every step of our life, we are learning. And even with your question, I'll learn by reminding everything what happened in my career. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
That's it.
And just one last thing as we wrap up this session, we would just like to let you guys know that we do have a stall just around the corner in this zone itself. You will find us, Hyperjump Productions. We are a startup, but we are a very passionate team of filmmakers, photographers, editors who would just love to share our love for film. We have our showcase happening over there as well. We also have a film screening happening in the next few days as well. So please do come visit our stall. If you have any more questions, you want to know more about us or just production in general, whatever you may need, you know where to find us. And you can also follow us on social media, Hyperjump Productions. Find us online as well. Thank you guys so much for coming, and God bless you all.